From the very first moment I washed up on the beach of this new land, I kept thinking to myself one thing. I wonder if there are legendaries. And after taking some time to explore the several different areas throughout the map, I had my answer. Now if you're like me and you have reached the late game stages of Palworld, you have likely come across the legendary pals that rule the map. As of right now, there are 4 unique pals that can be found patrolling different late game biomes. First, there's the duo of Palladius and Necromus, which are a neutral and dark combo that can be found patrolling the sands of the Northeast Desert. Next we have Frostallion, a majestic winged ice steed that can be found in the icy tundra in the northwest of the map. And lastly, there's Jet Dragon, a supersonic dragon pal that is found flying around lava pools at the base of Mount Obsidian in the far southwest of the map. Now these are the 4 that you probably know, but what if I told you there was a 5th? A pal not listed in your fancy pal deck. You probably wouldn't believe me, right? Well, luckily for both of us, I am not only telling you it's true, but I'm going to show you how to get this mysterious 5th legendary. But before I do that, I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe if you haven't yet, as it really helps the community and the channel grow. And also, if you enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like. Now without any more hesitation, let's dive into this legendary tale. So the first step in this process leads us up north to the frozen lake that the legendary Frostallion calls home. This can be found here in the northwest tundra, almost directly west of the land of the absolute zero fast travel. The mission here is to catch this icy Pegasus, which is no easy task, so I don't recommend trying this unless you have some very strong armor, weapons, and pals on your team. I just happen to have a few with me here, but it's still no cakewalk. Ideally, you should aim to bring some strong fire types for the element advantage, but regardless of your team, the most important thing in this fight is your movement and positioning. Frostallion boasts a flurry of super strong ice attacks, several of which are projectiles, so make sure you're always moving, dodging, and using the iceberg scattered throughout for cover. Do this and just let your pals continue to whittle down the Frostallion bit by bit. For me, this fight led into nighttime a bit, which may force you to get cold. But if you hold out a torch, you can combat this and not take any tick damage. Now, I only brought 7 legendary spheres with me to this fight because A, I was pretty confident it wouldn't take that many, and B, that's all I could craft at the time. So I waited until it was under 1k health before trying. At about a 13% capture chance, I tried a few times unsuccessfully, and totally not getting nervous at all that I was going to run out of balls, I soldiered on and finally got that ever so satisfying 3rd shake of the sphere and the first piece of the puzzle complete. Now safely back at your base, you can marvel at the newest addition to your team. Frostallion, as all legendaries that you catch in the world, comes with the passive skill Legend, which boosts both attack and defense by 20% and boosts movement speed by 15%. Additionally, Frostallion also has the unique skill Ice Emperor, that grants an additional 20% damage increase to ice attacks. It's safe to say that this boy is strong. However, today, he is just a small piece in the grand scheme of things. Because now that we have secured Frostallion, there's 2 more things that we need. And ironically enough, I already have one of them on my team, a Hell Zephyr. This nocturnal bird is the next thing we have to check off the list, and in case you don't already have one like me, here's where you can find them. And let's just go catch one for the hell of it. So have you ever fast traveled somewhere and the combat music starts playing before the loading screen is even finished? Well, that's what happened to me here. And just out of sheer luck, it happened to be a Hell Zephyr, which was super convenient for me and my recording time. So after a few little jabs of the old spear, I was the proud owner of a shiny new Hell Zephyr, and now we only need one more thing to unlock this legend. This final piece just happens to be a delicious one. Because if you head over to your closest cooking pot, you will find the recipe for a cake. Now some of you might already know where this is headed, but just in case you've never seen the Great British Baking Show, here's how it's done. Gather yourself some flour, red berries, milk, eggs, and honey, all of which can either be produced or farmed at the base, or if you're lazy, you could just hit the local supermarket and buy what you need. Regardless of how you get them, however, gather everything up and throw it all into the cooking pot. Baking cakes takes years of practice to master, but luckily my Jorman Tide Ingus here is a master pastry chef and whipped this bad boy up in about 20 seconds. Now with cake in hand, there's really only one thing left to do. Throw your Frostallion and Hell Zephyr into the base and carry them over to your breeding center. Obviously lift them up only using one arm, because you're swole as the kids say. And then put the cake in there and let nature run its course. And after a certain amount of time, your pals will need a cigarette, but you will be left with a huge dark egg. Clearly my pals are machines and produce 2 eggs. I might have given them too much cake. Nevertheless, bring your egg or 2 over to an incubator and start the hatching process. Once the time runs out and the process is complete, at long last, you will have the 5th and final legendary pal, a Frostallion Knock. You will now see a new entry in the pal deck at 110B. This pal is the dark counterpart of the Frostallion, donning an awesome black and purple color scheme with chrome accents on its head and legs. The Noct is just as strong as the other legendaries, however it's all a coin flip with the passive skills that it inherits. I found it's actually possible to not get the legend skill, but luckily this one does have it. But the beauty of breeding is that you can keep trying and trying and trying until you find the perfect skill set for you. Well, there you have it, guys. I guess there's nothing left to do except to craft the saddle for this bad boy and fly off into the sunset. I hope you enjoyed this video and you go out there and make yourself one of these to round out your team. Please make sure to subscribe and I will see you all in the next one.